Did you know that many people are living beneath their potential? Not because they lack ability, but because they have accepted labels that were placed on them by other people, by circumstances, or even by themselves. Some were labeled not good enough. Some were called too much or not enough. Some wear labels like failure, divorced, rejected, anxious, broken, difficult, overlooked, or unqualified. Now, labels can be helpful for identifying things, but they can be harmful when they begin to identify who we are. The danger is not just what people call you, it's when you begin to believe what people call you. So today, we're going to talk about not letting labels define who you are. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage. Have a seat and let's talk about that right here on A Different Choice.
Ooh, you gotta love yourself. Yeah, you gotta love yourself. Hey, you gotta love yourself. Just letting you know, you got to love yourself.
Hey everybody, and welcome to A Different Choice. My name is James and I'll be your host. Have you ever had people say, like a coworker, call you little nicknames? And when they do it, sometimes it seems so innocent, doesn't it? Stuff like you're a workaholic or you're just too much. Of course, there are some labels that they put on you that are a lot more harsh, like you'll never be enough or you're so difficult. See, the problem with labels is when you're defined by a label, it limits you. It shrinks your confidence, distorts your identity, and keeps you trapped in a version of yourself that may no longer be true or may never have been true in the first place. And that's even some of the good labels. Let me tell you something. You are more than what happened to you in the past. You are more than what others have said about you, and you are more than the label that they put on you. This is important to remember if we want to break free from labels other people put on us. From childhood to adulthood, you need to break free from that crap that someone has assigned to you. Now that's if you have accepted the label. Because some people can hear all that negativity and continue moving because they march to their own drummer. And that's how I want you to be. I don't want anyone to be controlled by another human being. Be your own person. But then there are some who have accepted the labels they were given. And to you who have accepted the labels, I say before you can break free, the first thing you have to do is identify what labels you've been carrying. Some labels come from a childhood. They call you the responsible one, or the troublemaker, or the shy one. Maybe you were called the black sheep. You see, all those little nicknames and all those little labels they give you don't seem to be bad, but yet they can last your whole lifetime. And some people look at it, those are just nicknames, those are just little things. No, those are all labels. And some labels come from painful experiences also. For instance, if you had a bad experience, you could be called a failure or unlovable, maybe damaged, or how about as you grow, now you're called too old, not smart enough. And then there are those that are self-imposed. Some people put all these labels on you, and now here you go, putting a label on yourself, like I'll never change. This is just who I am. I'm always going to struggle. Labels. The problem with labels is they can be internal scripts. You stop questioning them and start living according to the label that you was given. You start living according to the label that you have accepted. But you need to ask yourself, what words do I use to describe who I am? What identity have I accepted without challenging it? Whose voice am I still carrying? Because awareness is the first step to freedom. The first step to breaking away from labels is knowing the labels that you have accepted and also knowing why you accepted them. And then once you understand the labels you have accepted and why you accepted them, now it's time to start breaking away from that, because that was something that happened in the past. And here we are years into the future from where that happened, and you got more of your future to look forward to, and you're still wearing and carrying this label. We need to get rid of that. So be aware of what you're carrying. Be aware of what you have accepted, and then we can work on getting rid of it. Because the second thing you want to do is separate your identity from your experiences. What do I mean by that? Well, what I'm saying is what happened to you in the past may have affected you then, but it does not define who you are. In other words, you may have failed, but you're not a failure. You may be struggling, but you're not the struggle. Too many people confuse seasons with identity. A difficult chapter in your life can make you believe the whole book is ruined, but it's not. Growth happens when you begin to understand that even though you may have experienced loss, made mistakes, and have scars from the past events, you are still worthy and capable of learning, evolving, and becoming someone new. Don't let temporary pain become a permanent identity. The third thing I want you to do is to choose a new identity on purpose. Yes, choose a new identity on purpose. Once you remove the harmful labels, you must intentionally replace them with the truth. You cannot simply erase old beliefs. You must rewrite them. Instead of believing I'm not enough, say I'm growing and I am enough for this moment. Instead of saying I always mess things up, say I am learning and improving. Instead of saying I'm broken, say I'm healing. And then the most important part of this is to fall into those roles. In other words, if you're going to say it, fulfill it, live it. Don't just say it and hope it will happen. Make it happen. This is your life. Make it happen. I mean, you're giving yourself a chance to prove to yourself that what people said about you and what circumstances showed you is not who you truly are. See, identity is powerful. What you repeatedly tell yourself shapes how you show up in the world. And as you begin to show up differently in your mind, you will show up differently in your behaviors. I said, when you begin to show up differently in your mind, you'll show up differently in your behaviors. Start introducing yourself differently, not just to others, but also to yourself. Matter of fact, especially to yourself. Remember, we said positive affirmations in the mirror every morning in an earlier video. So show up and make sure you give yourself those affirmations and introduce yourself to yourself. Say it and then live it. Say it and then live it. Now, I'm not going to say that you will never have a bad day, or that people won't get mad and call you names, or even that bad circumstances won't come your way. If you live long enough, you're going to have all of that. But what I am saying is that you don't have to wear it for the rest of your life. You know, I can remember times when I had done something wrong, maybe at work, maybe in a relationship, and I was thinking about it for months, beating myself up. And the other people involved had already moved on from it. Isn't that something? Here I am wearing this bad decision, and they moved on from it. Months after months, I'm still thinking about it, and they've forgotten about it. All I'm saying is that you are not your label. You are not your past mistakes. What are you? Well, you're resilient, you're capable, you're valuable, you're becoming, you're learning, you are evolving, you are growing into whatever God has destined you to be. So don't let a word spoken over your life become a prison around your future. And don't let it imprison you in your mind. Labels may explain part of your journey, but they do not define your destiny. Take off the labels that no longer fit. As a matter of fact, take off all the labels and just live your life. Because you are not what they call you. You are not what you fear. And you are not your worst moment. You're still becoming who you were meant to be. See, I've had to learn that myself. And I've been loving my life ever since. So come on and stop wearing those labels. Come on and stop trying to live out what people have said about you. And give yourself some room to grow. Give yourself some room to evolve. God has made you unique. So live as a unique person, marching to your own drum and not being held back by somebody else's label, by what somebody else has said about you. Go ahead, you can take that to the bank, and I hope you do, because labels have no place on people. So until next time, as we always say, be good to yourself, forgive yourself, and most importantly, love yourself. Get rid of those labels. Don't worry about what other people say about you. Remember, like that one person, march to your own drummer. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Ooh, you gotta love yourself. Yeah, you gotta love yourself. Hey, you gotta love yourself. Just letting you know, you got to love yourself.